What is happening, everybody? Welcome to EDC with TC here at SMKW, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And today we've got a little bit different video for you. Before we get started, though, if you like this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you will know when we give you new insights into the world of knives and EDC. Now, this video is 5 knives that will make you rethink or maybe look differently at your EDC. Without further ado, light it up. So, this is going to be 5 knives that will make you rethink your EDC, or at least maybe look at it a little bit differently. And when it comes to these knives, the ones that I picked, it's not necessarily that specific knife, but I guess you could call it that genre of knife or EDC item. It's one of those things that I wanted to put it out there. These things, for me anyways, have really changed my outlook and changed the way that I view and put together my EDC. And, you know, for some people, it's not that important. For some people, they, you know, hey, I just grab this, throw it in my pocket, and I go. For other people, they plan it out. That's not me. I don't really plan mine out that much. Now, I do have certain combinations that I like to use based on what I'm doing. Also, these different options are going to be very dependent on your daily life and daily activity. It's going to really depend on, you know, what kind of clothing you wear on a daily basis, what kind of situations you find yourself in. Are you, working outdoors? Are you working indoors? Are you in a factory? Are you in a distribution center? Are you working in an office? So it's really going to depend on the things that you do on a daily basis. So these knives are going to be 5 knives or genres of knives that really change the way that you approach your EDC. And I think they'll do the same for you as they've done for me. So let's dig right into it. And right off the bat, I'm going to hit one that I think is going to be really more controversial. EDC fixed blades have become more popular in recent years, but there's still a lot of people out there that are like, no, I don't feel like EDCing a fixed blade. That's just too much. That's overkill. That's too much hassle. There's one knife that I think has really changed that, and because of its popularity, because of its size, and that one is the CRKT Minimalist, designed by Alan Foltz. There's several different versions out there, but this knife has really changed how fixed blades are viewed as far as EDC is concerned. They're super compact, super small, and very, very useful. If you haven't EDC'd a fixed blade, especially a minimalist like this one's really not going to get in the way, and I think you'll be surprised at how useful it is. Now, you've got a couple of different options as far as blade steel. 8CR is what they're going to come from the factory with, or you can get like one of our exclusives like this one here. I'm going to show it up close right here. Now, this one's going to be available in a few different options. This one in particular is our exclusive in D2. This is a full tang fixed blade, and I think that's very important. It's going to be very robust, and but at the same time, super small, super easy to carry, very unobtrusive. Now, that's a look at it in the sheath. And you can carry this a couple of different ways. It comes with the lanyard. You can carry it as a neck knife. You can put a belt clip on it and carry it, on your belt, which is typically how I prefer to carry it. I don't have the belt clip on this one right this moment, but a lot of different options. And it doesn't weigh a lot, so around the neck, it's not really that big of a deal, especially if you're already wearing like a lanyard or something with a name badge or something like that. And let's look size comparison. Let's look at that versus Benchmade Bugout. So that's a nice size comparison right there. It's only slightly bigger than a Benchmade Bugout entire package, and it actually weighs just a little bit less. So, I mean, take that in. This is a typical Bugout. Now, this is our exclusive Bugout, but, it's not going to be any, bigger than the normal Bugout. And this is not much bigger than that. And you get an EDC fixed blade. So that's something to take into consideration. And I implore you, if you have an EDC to fixed blade, you don't realize what you're missing out on, because this is very, very useful. I find myself a lot of times, whether I'm opening a letter or a package or, cutting baling twine, I find myself a lot of times reaching for something like this because it's right there. It's easy. I don't have to deploy it. As soon as I pull it out of the sheath, it's ready to go. And if you haven't felt of one of these Minimalist, I can't tell you how comfortable it is and how ergonomic this thing feels. I mean, it's phenomenal. So that is one that I think really will change your outlook on your EDC and really change how you look at it. And I think that's the biggest splash right there as far as all of these knives goes. Next up, and this one for me, so I'm going to show a couple of different knives in this realm, but I've always talked about how important having scissors is on you, because if you have never carried scissors on you, you don't realize how important those are and how much you actually can use them and will use them until you actually have them on you. And I've got a couple of different options here. Now, of course, you could go super simple, super small, and lightweight, and on your key ring, get one of the classic SDs, and put those on your key ring. You're going to have a nice little set of scissors. You're going to have a pin blade. You're going to have a file and a flathead screwdriver along with the toothpick and tweezers. And that's a great option. That's a phenomenal option. And you can get into those around $19 to $30, depending on the material. And then you have a pair of scissors on you. Another great option, and this is one that I just saw on the sales floor. We just got these back in. This is the Farmer X Alox from Victorinox, and this is our exclusive in the green. We've also got it in the blue Alox. But this is going to be a great option for an EDC, and it's going to provide you so many different valuable tools. Of course, it's got the knife, and we're going to show this up close right here. Of course, it's got the traditional Victorinox blade. Excuse me. Then you're also going to have the reamer and all right there. Moving on down right here, of course, the reason why I picked this one is going to be the scissors right there. And like I said before, that is an invaluable tool. Having a pair of scissors, whether you're just cutting a stray thread, maybe you're going out on a date and you get really self-conscious, and all of a sudden you notice, oh my gosh, I've got this huge stray thread, and she's going to think I'm a slob. And, well, you just, reach in your pocket or reach in your console of your car, and you've got these right here, and you've got these scissors. Go ahead and cut that thread off. No need to be self-conscious anymore. So, a little bit of a peace of mind there. Now, this one's also going to have the saw on it, which I think, for a kind of a prepper like me, a survivalist like I am, I really dig having the saw right there. It's going to make, if you're out in the woods or something like that, processing any kind of wood to make a fire so much easier. It's a very valuable tool right there. But that's not the main reason why I picked this one. You're also going to have the bottle opener, flathead screwdriver, wire stripper right there that you see on so many Victorinox, and you're going to have the can opener right there as well. So that's a great EDC tool right there that's really going to help. But I think what really sets this apart, and the main reason why I picked this, is going to be the scissors, and how valuable those are, and how that really having a pair of scissors on me really changed my mind and really changed the way that I look at how I plan out my EDC. And that's why I picked this knife right there. And that's why I think it will change how you view your EDC, which is the theme of this video. Now, keeping in the realm of multi-tools, I think if you don't carry a multi-tool now, I will say that is one thing that I've EDC'd most of my life since I was 17 years old. I have EDC'd a multi-tool of some kind, whether it was in my bag or actually on my hip, which is typically where it's at. I have EDC'd a multi-tool for most of my life. And really, that's another one of those situations where it depends on, what you go through in your daily activities. For me, and I've worked as a maintenance guy for cabin maintenance companies around here. I've worked, in different retail scenarios. But I always find myself in a situation, growing up the way that I did with my father, being a machinist and being a fabricator and a fixer of a lot of different things. He always taught me how to fix everything right then. Don't wait. And, you're going to save a lot of hassles, save a lot of worry, and even eventually a lot of money if you go ahead and fix things yourself. And having a multi-tool on you is very valuable when it comes to doing stuff like that. Now, the one that I actually picked is going to be the Leatherman Signal. This is my Signal right here. Really dig this one. Now, this is not the one that I typically EDC on my person. This one is actually goes on my monkey board from Woods Monkey, my survival board. I typically EDC my Leatherman Free P4, but this one's been fairly heavily modified, which is why I didn't choose this one, because I heavily modified this one to really fit my personal EDC. This one actually comes closer to fitting my EDC right out of the box, and that's why I wanted to feature it. So let's dive in and take a look at this Leatherman Signal right here. I dig the color. I think it's really cool. This one's got the turquoise right there with the, pink accents. So one thing that I think is really cool about this, you're going to have the wire cutters, and these are going to be the replaceable blades. The main multi-tool that I EDC'd for a long time, I marred up the wire cutters on it, did not have the replaceable blades, and I just had to live with that. And it got kind of sticky, and I had to pull them apart and all that kind of stuff. Kind of a pain. But the main thing that I really dig about having a multi-tool, and the main thing that really comes in handy for me, and I use this, I kid you not, literally on at least a every other daily basis, and that's going to be the screwdriver. Now, this one in particular, and the reason why I picked this one, and what makes me really like this one, is this one has their proprietary screwdriver bits right there, which also accepts their driver, their ratcheting driver, and their typical static bit driver. So I really dig this ratcheting driver, and they make sheaths that this actually will fit in along with the tool itself. And the sheath also has a compartment where I can put my bits in it right here. And these are all the typical bits that I usually use in a normal scenario. And so I've got a ratcheting bit driver right there. Extremely handy. I use it, like I said, at least 4 or 5 times a week. And I think that's an invaluable tool. It also comes with the bit already in it that has the Phillips and flathead, which is going to be enough for most people and most people's use. And I think that is a super, super valuable tool to have. That, of course, isn't the only thing that this tool is going to have. You're also going to have the can opener right there. You're going to have the awl right there. And then you close this up. This one's a little bit different than most. You're going to have the saw right there. You're going to have the knife on this side. And that actually needs to be engaged right there, too. I'm going to have to get this right. There we go. Now, that's going to be the partially serrated blade right there. You can see that it's been well worn and well used. This one's also going to have the fire starter, the ferro rod right there, and the file right there. And it's also going to have the whistle on it. You're also going to have another bit driver that is going to be right there. So any typical bit is going to fit, and I'll demonstrate this. So you can take that bit out, and it's going to fit right in there. So you can get a nice handle grab on there to really get some good torque on those bits. So that's a couple of different options. You've also got a lock right here that will lock that in place so that it will not come apart. I think that's a really cool feature of this one. And, of course, the carabiner along with the pocket clip, and it has the belt sheath. So a lot of different carry methods. You can actually use the carabiner to slap this on a bag, a work bag, or something like that. I think that's a very, very valuable tool that I think will make a lot of people, and it sure has made me rethink how I approach my EDC. The Signal comes in, I believe it'll about $129, but there's a lot of different options, and you can really, especially when it comes to Leatherman, Gerber, SOG, Victorinox, you can really dive in and think about what tools you need, what tools are going to be more valuable to you on a daily basis, and really dive in and get a one that is basically custom fit for you, because there's so many different options out there. Now, up next is going to be the Benchmade Bugout. And we've got a couple of different options here. We've got the mini Bugout, and we've got the traditional Bugout. This is actually our exclusive CPM M4 on the blade steel. This is the Desert Storm one, and I've actually got the Glow Rhino thumb stud and Axis lock bar in that one. And I've got a lanyard on it that I made. But this is going to be the Bugout. Now, originally, when Benchmade came out with the Bugout, and when it was first designed, it was not designed as a typical EDC knife. It was designed to be exactly what the name implies, a Bugout knife. Something to put in your go bag, your Bugout bag, and something to be kind of a last resort. It has turned into a very, very popular EDC knife simply because it is so thin, it is so lightweight, so unobtrusive, and so handy to have. Now, the regular Bugout comes with FRN handles, just like this one here. This is the mini Bugout. This one actually has G10 handles. And another cool thing about the Bugout is there are so many different customizable options out there. So many different companies making titanium scales and brass scales and bronze scales. And we even offer them in our custom shop. And there's so many different ways you can customize this and make it your own, make it personalized. And that's what a lot of people are going to with their EDC. So this is going to offer you that customizability right there with your handle scales, but it's also going to do it in a way that's very unobtrusive, very lightweight. So maybe you work in an office, you don't have a lot of pocket space, or you want something that's a little less EDCE, if that's a way to put it, something that's a little less imposing. So a Bugout or something like a CEO is going to work very well, Boker Quaken. But these are going to be very unobtrusive, very lightweight, and very useful knives, and especially when it comes to the mini Bugout. Now, this one in particular, and we're going to show this one up close, This one's the one with the white FRN handles. These are really easily dyed, so you can dye them whatever color you want to with just some RIT dye. Pop those off, and it takes that dye really, really well. And you can make these whatever color you want. You can keep this one white and black, and you can have your Stormtrooper right there. So S30V on the blade steel, premium blade steel. So you've got a really solid knife here that's going to be really lightweight, very unobtrusive, and it's going to do everything you need it to do. And even when it comes to this mini bug out, I've got normal sized hands, and I have no problem getting all 4 fingers on that grip right there. I mean, that is a phenomenal option for a really small, really thin. Like, look at how thin that thing is. Very unobtrusive, lightweight EDC. And then you've also got your full-size bug out right there. And I really dig this one. Again, full 4-finger grip right there. That's going to be a great EDC option. And I think something as small and unobtrusive as this is really going to change how you look at your EDC. And last but certainly not least, and this is one that's really going to be dependent, not necessarily on what you do on a daily basis, but more so on where you live and what kind of freedoms you have or don't have. Bless your heart. So this one is going to be an auto of some kind, whether it's out the front or out the side. I would recommend that if you don't have a lot of experience with autos, for me anyways, my first one, I felt a little bit more confident and comfortable with an out the side, simply because of the nature of the mechanism. It was a little more familiar, and so I understood it a little bit better when I first got into autos. And a good example of that is going to be this Hogue Ballista right here. This is brand new this year, the Hogue Ballista 1, and this one's in the blue. We've also got it in the black with a partially serrated blade, 154 cm on the blade steel. So very nice blade steel, really nice aluminum handles, reversible pocket clip right there, deep carry pocket clip. This one's going to be a button lock and button actuated Tonto blade with the lock on the side. And that's another thing. Like, if you've never carried an auto before and you want a little extra security, you've got the lock right there. So that way, when it's in your pocket, no matter what happens, it's not going to come open. All you got to do is slide that lock back, hit the button, and it pops right out. But I will say, I think if you've never carried an automatic, I think that's really going to change the way that you look at and view your EDC. I think they're a great option. It's going to allow you, just like the fixed blade does, an option that is one-handed. Now, most of these knives, with the exception of the multi-tools, the bug out, the fixed blade, they're all going to be one-handed operation. And most modern folders are going to be one-handed operation. But there's also kind of that cool factor. And, when it comes down to it, that's kind of been the trend, is this is all pocket jewelry too. It's not just functionality. And I will say, I'm big on making sure that it's functional and having a practical use for it. But at the same time, I kind of want something personalized, and I want something that looks, feels, and that I think is cool. So there's a lot to be said for that cool factor going in your pocket. And a really nice, solid automatic is really cool. And it's going to be super simple to actuate, super simple to use one-handed if you've got the other hand tied up. This one in particular, I really like how it has the finger choil so you can choke up. It's got the jimping on the back end of the blade right there. And you can really get down and dirty and do some really good work with that. I think that's a phenomenal option. Now, if you do want to go the OTF route, you can go with something like our brand new Boker exclusives, the low tax. You can go with a Microtex, UTX 85, UTX 70. Or you can do something like this Exo set right here, which I think is really cool. This is my personal one right here. I'm going to show it up close right there. This is the Bounty Hunter. We're sold out of these right now. These never stay in stock for very long. Super popular. It's also going to double as a money clip right there, which gives it multiple uses, makes it a great option for an EDC blade right there. Pops right out, pops right back in, and really cool conversation piece right there. You know, if it's not deployed, it just looks like any other money clip that is themed a certain way. So I think that's really cool. I still love this lanyard right here, made for me by Bladed Ginger. He did a great job on that. But, you know, if you haven't explored the world of autos and they are legal in your area, now I will say check your rights, check the legality in your area. If they're not legal, check with kniferights.org. Doug Ritter is doing incredible work each and every day. They are fighting each and every day to get rights back into the hands of Americans, and I think that's phenomenal. So check your rights, check what's legal in your area, but if you haven't explored autos, I implore you to do so because they're really cool, they're very functional, they're not just a gimmick, they are legit useful knives, and check them out because I really think that adding an automatic to your collection and using it as an EDC will really change how you look at your EDC. Folks, let us know in the comments down below. That's going to be all of the knives. Now, like I said, that's 5. That's, you know, autos, the Bugout, CRKT Minimalist for an EDC fixed blade, a multi-tool, and something with scissors. That's going to be my 5 right there. That's my 5 knives that will change the way you look at and view your EDC and maybe think about how to plan out your EDC. Let us know in the comments down below what you EDC and why you EDC that. And let us know in the comments down below what you think about this list and maybe what you would have changed about it. Maybe you would not have put a multi-tool on there because you don't really see a need for it in your life. Maybe you wouldn't have put an automatic on there, or maybe you wouldn't have put a fixed blade on there. But I think getting that conversation started about all these different knives will change the way people look at EDC and maybe want to try something a little bit different. That's what this is all about, is looking at what everyone else has got and saying, maybe that could be useful for me too. Maybe something like that could work for me. Maybe I need to modify it slightly for my needs, tailor it to my needs, and I can use something like that too. So let us know in the comments down below what you think about this list and what you EDC and why you EDC it. Folks, as always, it's been me, TC, here with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, SMKW.com. And remember, if it cuts like your EDC, then we carry it. Shut that down. All right. Giggity, giggity, gig. No, it's not. It just popped into my head. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to EDC with TC. Welcome to EDC with TC. That sounds nerdy as shit. It's our shtick. No inappropriate jokes about shticks. God bless America. There we go. And no one else. Yeah. Of all of the, blah, blah, blah.